Welcome back to the Second and Short podcast where the entire playbook is open. I'm Josiah.
I'm Christian.
And I'm Hayden.
And once again, for those of you who like to listen to audio only, the link for the Spotify will be in the description.
You know, Josie has almost worked his way up. We're all a group, we're all a team. This has turned into mine and Josie's podcast.
Oh, I missed one.
You and Cooper just
I missed two.
Eli takes a whole half a year off. You and Cooper's like,
I
oh,
missed
I have a
two.
date. I have a date with one of my girlfriends. Oh, I have to go buy a car.
The first one I missed, I had to study for my ASVAB. The second one I missed, I hung out with friends before I'm leaving in 3 weeks.
Hey, listen, kudos to Cooper. He's lucky to have one. Somehow he's managed to get multiple over the last few weeks.
He's making money moves, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Find that new whip.
when you have deep pockets, you can get ladies. So, I mean, Tyreek Hill, for instance.
Yikes.
You can ask someone to just fly across the country to do football drills with you, and that's considered riz when you have money. So, anyways, we're 2 minutes in. We haven't even talked any football, and I already have a shout out back up. So, we were thinking, since it is summer, there's a little bit of looser rules. It's hot out. It's nice. Let's have a quick episode. So, this might end up being a quick one. Obviously, we always say that, and then we find something to talk about. But one of the segments that we were really interested in doing is finding the greatest player to wear each number. All 100 digits, I guess you could say now, since number 0 is involved.
Yeah.
And we did that. We started to make a list. But then we were like, all right, some of these numbers, it's whatever. It's going to be interesting once we get to the 40s, obviously, because who wears the 40s? No one.
Some linebackers, maybe. You got DRC wearing the 41, I think.
Yeah. Darn.
But even
Sorry, Bobby Spillane.
Maybe throw way back to tight ends wearing some, but it's you're going to
I mean, Dallas Clark might have 44.
Yeah.
But we're obviously getting ahead of ourselves. We're just going to do numbers 1 through 20 today. Josie has a fun little trivia question in there for us. But as a reminder, just 21st century. So number 16 is not going to be Joe Montana. Number 7, not going to be John Elway. Number 8, not Steve Young, etc., etc. Don't get mad at it. But we're going to start off, and Josie, right before we started recording, you mentioned, what about number 0? And you're right. It's only been 2, maybe 3 years with the new rule.
Well, since the 21st century. If you go way back, Jim Otto, or somebody.
Jim Otto just recently passed away, the Hall of Fame center. He wore double 0. And I saw a story about that. He actually wore double 0s because he wanted to have a flashy number for a position that was so important, but didn't get any praise. And that was his position, the center.
Yeah. It's awesome. Most underrated position in all of football, probably, center.
I'll take that as a former high school center myself. So
I played center at a boys and girls club forever ago when I played football for a year.
Was the girl the quarterback?
Boys and girls club. It's like a inner city after school program type thing.
You guys didn't let girls play?
No, we did not. Because we were 7th and 8th grade boys, and we would not have taken it easy.
Okay, Harrison Butker. All right.
Listen,
So,
All right.
no
let's
hate.
let's
No hate.
get it going before
Josie,
you guys don't have a podcast name.
Josie, you mentioned a player that you think is the greatest to wear 0 in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And I happen to agree. Everybody wants the number 0. The number 0 is even more recent than the single-digit numbers. That's literally just last season.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of guys that I can think of off the top of my head that wore 0. I think DeAndre Swift wore 0 last year. Dalvin
Brian Burns.
Dalvin Cook did not.
No,
Brian Burns wore 0. Calvin Ridley wore 0.
That was the other one I was going to say. And then, I mean, I think the guy that just kind of stands alone in that category of players who not only probably have the best legacy of the players wearing 0, but also just had the best year last year of it is Roquan Smith. I mean, just a baller. Probably has a case for being a top 5 defensive player right now. If you could make the argument top 10, probably somewhere in there. I'd be comfortable arguing somewhere from 5 to 10, but I mean, just an absolute baller. I wouldn't people in the AFC North who have to watch him at least twice a year just absolutely decimate their running game, play good in coverage, like they know just how good he is.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be Keon Coleman after this year.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll
shout
see.
out. I mean, just a complete specimen and
Mhm.
best off-ball linebacker in the league right now.
Mhm.
And obviously, you threw in possibly top 5 in the defense. We obviously did that tournament
Mhm.
last week. It just really depends on where you value the
Right.
off-ball linebacker.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 1. We have some guys. I have some guys predating the 21st century. Obviously, shout out to Warren Moon. A couple of guys who really built the game of football in Curly Lambeau and Jim Thorpe.
Mhm.
But let's be real. Like, I appreciate all they did, but no one wants to talk about them. The other 2 guys that I have that 21st century, Sauce Gardner, who maybe one day, if looking at the other guys on this list, if he continues to be the best corner in the NFL, I know you aren't totally bought in on that idea, but he's a guy who could, if we do this exercise 5 to 10 years from now, we might see that.
And he's top 3. Like, I'm not trying to say Sauce isn't good. Like, I just think that there's other guys in the argument for sure. So
Pat Surtain and who else?
I'd say Pat Surtain. I'm a big Jair Alexander guy. I don't like necessarily how much he's been in the media talking trash recently, but like I think Jair when he plays is like, I mean, he's man-to-man lockdown. Like, big fan of Jair.
So, I don't know. I have Pat McAfee on here as a joke. I don't want to keep because this isn't the best players to wear each number. It's also the most iconic.
Yeah.
So Pat McAfee actually does have a pretty good case because
You could say he's the best punter of all time.
And post-career, what he's done is just like, I mean, he's elevated.
he's the
himself
face of
into-
sports media.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with all
Good
that
friend.
said,
It's got to be Cam Newton.
it's Cam Newton. It's Superman without question, right?
Yeah. I think I threw out 2 as well for us that like players who wore the number, but they weren't necessarily known for it. I think there's other guys in here too, just to kind of name a few as I'm scrolling through here. Like Michael Vick in 2014 wore the number 1. Again, he's not really known for that. Who was the other guy? Emmanuel Sanders wore the number 1 in 2021. Deshaun Jackson in 2021. So like, there's other guys in there, but they're not known for it the way that Cam is. So I agree. Like, I mean, MVP of the league, made it all the way to the Super Bowl. They went with 15-1 that season. Like, I mean, Cam is the answer
With a
here.
very, not the greatest roster either when you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, they
Or
had.
offense to me, I feel like.
I don't think they even had. Did they still have Steve Smith at that time, or was he
No.
a Raven?
He was a Raven.
They had him for a few years.
Right, but
They
like
didn't have him for
the
Super Bowl.
MVP,
No, not for the
Super Bowl
Super Bowl.
year.
2014 was his
Their
first
best
year with
receiver
the
was
Ravens.
Kelvin Benjamin that year.
Yeah.
Well, Kelvin Benjamin actually had a pretty good start.
Yeah,
to his
but
career.
and then he had Greg Olsen still.
And then he had hamburgers. So, all right, moving on to number 2.
Quick one for
No, go for
Marquette King, underrated number 1. I
it.
thought
He wore number
He
1.
wore number 1 in 2018, just the year.
Okay,
2018.
so-
I
it
think
must
with
have
the
been with the
Broncos.
Broncos.
I was
after
gonna say because
left.
he was 7 with the
He
Ravens.
was
Yeah.
he was Breeder's name with the Broncos for like 1 year, then he was out of the league.
So I mean, just great punter. I was a huge fan of
Oh, I
Marquette
loved
Kings.
him. Me and I always traded for him in Madden.
I was like, he
was
also
so
had like
good.
80 speed in Madden. So.
Yeah, kind of why
Mhm.
Pat McAfee was so entertaining as a punter. Just the athletic ability.
Mhm.
It's beyond just a punter. They can throw, they can run,
Mhm.
and then also they have bigger personalities than, let's say, a punter should have.
Yeah.
At least to some people, in some people's opinions.
Mhm.
Anyone else you guys want to give an honorable mention to?
No.
I think I'm good there. So-
All right, so Cam Newton is the most iconic
Mhm.
NFL player to wear number 1 in the 21st century. At number 2, I thought we were going to have more guys here. I didn't find a ton. And like I said, I'm going to give an honorable mention to some guys predating 2020 or 2000. David Akers,
Yeah.
Doug Flutie, who I honestly was going to argue should be the winner if we were sticking to all time.
He was mainly 7 for a lot of his career, right?
He wore 7 in Buffalo, I
I
think.
thought he wore in New England too.
I think he wore 2 in. That's a good point though, but because he switched numbers, so
Mhm.
that would make my case a little weaker. Mason Crosby,
Mhm.
Amari Cooper,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw Cooper,
Yeah.
Dustin Colquitt, Johnny Manziel,
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan and Darius Slay.
I'm going to throw it there again. I mean, I threw him out in the first one. He's not really known for wearing this number, but Mike Vick were number 2 with the Steelers. So again, when you talk about like legacy and we'll say upside and what could have been questions, like Mike Vick is up there for sure.
I think I'm going with David Akers.
I think David
Y'all-
Akers is
y'all-
a solid answer, but there is a clear answer here. He's an
Matt
MVP. Yeah, like Matt Ryan's
I'm
MVP
trying to
of the
lean it
league is,
away
like-
from another quarterback. Also, you know who I
That's
saw
fine,
was on
but
there?
think about it. Quarterbacks can only wear 0 through 19.
You know who
So,
I just
like,
realized was on there?
Yeah.
Tennessee's kicker Baronis, or how you say his
Rob
name?
Baronis.
Who passed away.
Yeah,
He was good for a while too.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I'm going David Akers. I mean,
I
a lot of people, and that's why I'm doing that too, is because a lot of people hate on Matt Ryan too and don't think he was that good.
Yeah, and like I'm a big David Akers guy. He was probably one of my favorite kickers to watch early on and when I started watching football, really. But I mean, probably the second greatest left-footed kicker of all time, only behind Janikowski. Like, there's a case that maybe he was more consistent than Janikowski
Yeah.
even was, even though Janikowski tried a 74, 76-yard
Janikowski's leg was just nuts.
insane, dude. Yeah, because he had a lot of mass behind it too on his kicks. Big boy, got that Presley Harvin build.
Yeah. So, all right. Are we seriously?
It's Matt Ryan.
Okay,
Matt Ryan's
I was gonna say, are
No,
we
Matt-
gonna
it's Matt
put a
Ryan.
kicker not named Justin Tucker or Adam Vinatieri ahead of an MVP
I mean,
quarterback,
it's Matt
a
Ryan.
fringe Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
All right, so NFC South, the first 2 digits, Matt Ryan is the most iconic NFL player to wear number 2 since 2000. Number 3. So I have 3 guys listed here. I'm sure I missed a couple. Russell Wilson, obviously. You have to forget the recent Russell Wilson, the controversial, the
Which he didn't even play bad last year.
not as great football player, Russell Wilson. OBJ with his 1 year, which I have a feeling we're going to give him another digit. And then Carson Palmer with his time with the
I
Cardinals.
was literally just looking at Carson Palmer on here.
I
That
think
was a
I'm
name
going
that popped
Wilson.
out to me.
I'm going
Am
Wilson.
I missing anybody? Like I said, I only
I was
have
thinking a
3
little bit of
players here,
Buda
but-
Baker, but also he just switched to 3 a couple years ago, but he's also been good since his rookie year as a safety.
No, that's a good one.
And Jesse Bates was just 3 last year, but those are the only guys who I'm really seeing that are popping out to me other than the guys you listed.
And I mean, honestly, like you could mention Jameis Winston. He's on there. I don't think he's in the same category as some of the other players that we
but-
did, but like,
The 30-30.
yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, we said Russell Wilson. There was another guy I was just glancing on here as I saw. EJ Manuel.
Oh, Goskowski,
That's,
kicker, but
Ooh.
Mark Sanchez. Again, and
That's
he
his
went to
time with
the
the
AFC.
Eagles, though. That's his
Yeah.
time with the Eagles.
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
true.
even the
DeMar
Jets.
Hamlin. You try to hold it in.
Radio silence. Radio silence.
Will
for that
Greer,
one.
man, big Will Greer guy. I thought he was gonna be okay coming out of.
Third round
Kafka.
pick. He was supposed to be the Cam
Was he
Newton successor.
WVU?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wasn't
okay.
that good.
He
I
was
know
so
his
fun to
name was
watch at
big.
WVU.
Mike Kafka.
The GOAT, Nathan Peterman's on this list for number 3.
Nathan Peterman should actually
Cliff
be the winner
Kingsbury?
for multiple digits.
Cliff Kingsbury played in the NFL?
Yeah, he was a Tom Brady backup.
I did not know that.
You can organize. Sorry, you can organize them by year.
I don't care. I'm just looking at that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, my vote's Russ.
EJ
Like, I think there's other guys that you could throw into the conversation, but I think 2-time Super Bowl appearance, right? 2-time Super Bowl appearance, 1 win, 1 loss.
He hasn't won MVP, but there's
He's
some
never even
shit.
got an MVP vote.
But I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree.
But have you guys seen those like graphics? Derek Carr is one, but there's like just obscure guys to have like MVP votes, and like obviously Derek Carr did have a good year the year he got votes, but there's just like lists like that, and Russell Wilson was just dominant. Drew Brees was another one, right? He never got a vote
I
either.
think there was a period where Ben.
I
didn't
think
have
it was-
any
I
either.
think it-
there may have been at some point.
I
in the
think
end
Ben
of
had
the
like
year,
a
maybe?
couple like
I
total
think
across his
Breeze.
career.
I think
Yeah.
Breeze's 1 year he was close was the year he was like breaking all those records.
Oh yeah. The thing about Russ to me, and what sets him apart here is like, prior to him coming in the league, it was like there wasn't much argument about the fact that Ben Roethlisberger was like the best deep ball passer in the league. And then all of a sudden, this young kid who was a 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin and wherever else he went,
NC State
And-
first, and then Wisconsin.
yeah, it's like he just came out and he was dropping dimes on his deep ball. Like Russell Wilson's deep ball early in his career was unmatched. It was so insane.
I mean, I still think he has a
Mhm.
pretty one. Just
Yeah.
it's a rainbow, and it just drops into the bucket perfectly every time. That's what I think made Tyler Lockett so good for so long, and still so good.
Yeah.
But
He's got that, for those NBA fans out there watching, he's got that Dirk Nowitzki jumper. Everything just went way up. So, got that nice little
isn't
rainbow on it.
I'm not an NBA guy, but isn't Dirk like 7'5"? So
He's 7 foot flat, I think. But he also, like, when he released the ball, he was almost at where the rim was, but he shot
The
it,
only
like,
dude
10
who's like
feet up in the air.
7'5" is Victor Wembanyama.
really,
He's the tallest guy yet.
But Dirk was like 7 foot.
Yeah,
basically.
Dirk's still tall, but there's no one that's like really been over 7 foot in the NBA other than Taco Fall and what's his name, Bobo.
I mean, Shaq, Yao Ming. Like, if you throw it back,
There
there's
hasn't
guys,
been like
but,
anybody over 7
I mean,
foot.
7
Hey,
7
Shaq
foot
was
is
listed at
extremely
6'11".
tall.
Shaq
It's
was
so-
listed at 6'11" the 1 year.
Shaq was 7'2", brother.
No, they listed him at 6'11".
all right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
moving on to 4.
number 3 out of 3 for quarterbacks.
This
All
fourth one's
three
kinda tough.
spending a majority of their career in the NFC.
I don't know. That's tough.
Number 4, I have 3 guys listed here as we've been doing. You guys can add on anybody that I missed. I did this real quickly. Dak Prescott is the recency bias one. Top 10 quarterback, especially in just ability. Adam Vinatieri, the future Hall
Oh,
of Fame
I passed
kicker.
over him, that's why.
And then the front runner, at least for me, is Brett Favre. He was the leader in
He didn't
touchdowns and pass yards for a long time. Most consecutive career starts. Even if you're just looking at the 21st century, he played till 2011, 2010, I believe. I think it's Brett Favre's.
Yeah, it is. I passed over him by accident. I was looking.
Who were you thinking?
Well,
Christian?
I was just seeing all these special teamers. I saw Phil Dawson and Jay Feely and all of them. I was like, shoot, I'm not really. And then I saw Dak and I was like, I didn't really see it. And then I passed right over Brett Favre's name by accident.
Christian's really trying to get a kicker on this list, and I love it.
Oh, I'm doing it for
I
sure. Billy
love it.
Cundiff.
I think that there's a number I think that screams kicker, but we'll get there.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
number
think
9,
that-
that's all you're gonna do. Number 9.
Well, thanks, Christian.
I mean that is the number that the greatest.
I don't know
kicker of all
where.
time
I don't
is,
know
so.
where. Vinatieri was the only other one who I think had a case, and I would give him it over Dak.
Yeah,
So
for
is-
sure.
Is
Yeah.
Vinatieri number 2?
Yes.
Or
I would
okay,
say
I didn't
so.
know if I missed anybody that you guys were
I
seeing.
mean,
Put respect on Jay
If you-
Feely.
I mean, you got to take out all the off-field stuff and just look at the first 4-ish years of the career. Deshaun Watson's got a case up there with
Yeah.
Dak, but again, it's there's been so much that happened. Dak, for as popular as he was from the very get-go when he came in his rookie season, Dak's done an extremely good job with keeping his head out of the media and doing things off the field and stuff like that. So I think that puts him above Deshaun in that aspect because he's been able to keep his stuff clean. But
Oh, number 5. I'm pushing for a special team.
All right, hold on. Deshaun Watson is just so crazy. People forget how good he was right away.
incredible.
We viewed him the same way we view Mahomes.
Yeah.
And that's the way I talked about Carson Wentz in that 2017 season. The way people just gush over Mahomes oh, nobody has that arm angle, nobody can get out of that sack. That was Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz first. And obviously, both of their careers have taken a completely different turn than Mahomes. But Deshaun, what made that crazier was it wasn't even just the on the field stuff. It was the off the field. He was viewed as a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was viewed as a great Samaritan, great in the community, and then all this stuff comes out and it's the polar opposite.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody at my internship today. He's a Browns fan. And he was talking about going to training camp just to heckle Deshaun Watson.
His own team's fan.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And that's just such a fall from grace that Deshaun Watson has had. And we forget not only how good he was, but how people viewed him off of the football field as well. But
Oh yeah, I mean he was Houston's darling. So I mean, hey, they fall quick. So
all right, number 5. This is another one that I only have 3 players listed as right now, and gonna start off with Teddy Bridgewater, just because I don't think he's gonna get it. But Teddy Two Gloves gets an honorable mention. I have Morton Anderson here,
I was gonna say.
and we forgot about him obviously when we just or I shouldn't speak for you guys. I made the oblivious statement saying 4 and 9 were the only chances for kickers. Morton Anderson is the all-time leader in points. Still, the only Hall of Fame kicker who was solely a kicker.
Yeah.
Ray Guy obviously was a punter, but he's the only pure kicker, at least until Vinny and Justin Tucker get in. I don't know. This was also when we were talking about doing all-time, not just since 2000. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he played into the 2000s. I would like to say he played at least until 2005.
7, I think, is what
Okay.
I'm seeing here. Where is he?
So
95 to 2007. That's not very long. That's only 12 years. Maybe that he wore this number. He might have worn a different
Okay.
number before that. So I don't want to outspeak.
but that makes me feel better because that's 8 years.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better about it.
Yeah.
And then my personal favorite, the guy who I view as a Hall of
I knew you were
Famer,
gonna say him.
the 4th best playoff quarterback of all time behind Joe Montana, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady. Should be a Hall of Famer, Joe Elite Flacco.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree that his name should be in there. Looking through these names, like, the only name I think was omitted, and to be honest with you, like, he didn't even wear 5 for that long, but he's known well enough for it that, like, Jalen Ramsey at number 5, he only wore number 5 really from what is this, 2021 to 2023, so I think he still is, but, like, he was known more for 20, but even in college, I think he wore 5, right, at FSU.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that there's a case that Jalen Ramsey should be included in this.
No, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Especially, and he's still going. I was going to make the case with Flacco. Longevity helps him out. He was drafted in 2008, still playing in 2024. But I like the Jalen Ramsey because he is still wearing 5 with the Dolphins, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
It's like
you
really
have
only when he wasn't allowed to wear a single digit is the only time he didn't. Which to me is like, okay, the only reason he didn't wear it for his entire career is because the NFL told him he couldn't. So he should be counted, I think, in this 5.
I think it should.
But I think there's also a case that he's going to get number 20, maybe. I mean, there's I mean, if you take Barry Sanders out of it, of course. But,
but it's what Barry didn't play in the 21st century. So,
exactly.
I mean, did Jalen play with the? Not that this is like a huge make or break argument, but did he have a year at 20 with the Rams? I feel
his
like he had.
first year he got
I feel like his first year he had his old number, and then the rule happened. Maybe there were too many jerseys, so he didn't want to do it yet. Yeah.
But I think that's dumb that the league. I know that's a tangent, but I think that's dumb that the league makes the players buy it out. It makes sense from a business perspective, but it seems petty. Like, you're a $100 billion company, and you're worried about the $1 million it's going to take to
Listen,
get rid of these
I'm
jerseys.
pro corporate, so I don't mind it.
You're a bootlicker.
Yeah. Christian, is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to before we decide? I feel like this is the
there's
first.
actually 2 punters who I like, but also I saw Ramsey and I was like, crap.
All right, I like this. I'm not even mad, Christian. Go ahead and just give special
Matthew
teamers love.
Bosher, punter for the Falcons. He was always solid with them.
Yeah.
And then I just saw Sam Martin.
Sam Martin. I
Yeah.
mean, he's somewhat recent, right?
And he wears 6. He wore 6 at some point too. I don't know if that's.
Sam Martin, he wore 6 his whole career.
We're on 5.
Oh, wait.
We're still. I was wondering what. That was
Oh, yeah, no, Sam Martin. It was just Bosher.
Just Bosher.
Yeah.
I feel like was Matt Stover the Ravens have quietly had really good kickers because Billy Cundiff obviously known for missing the
I almost threw
AFC
his name out
Championship
there for
kit.
one of these numbers.
Christian
3.
did, yeah, 2 I think.
2, yeah.
But and then prior to him, they had Matt Stover, who I think is a Baltimore Ravens Hall of Fame player. So,
Yeah.
but anybody else for 5?
I don't think so.
All right. I think we can eliminate Teddy.
Yeah.
Like
I would say
good
it's between-
career, but
It's between Flacco and Ramsey, I think, and I don't know.
over Morton Anderson.
I'm going Ramsey.
Again, it's just recency bias.
Christian, this is your chance to get a kicker on the board.
I don't know. So, no.
I mean,
I'm going Flacco. So Josie, you're the tiebreaker.
so you won what?
Ramsey. Don't you worry. I have kickers lined up for number 6 already, too.
Christian's gonna be naming Sean
See,
Schweich.
here's the thing. Here's the
I
thing.
was
Okay,
going to name him.
I think Flacco deserves it as much as Ramsey does here, but with the amount of quarterbacks that we're gonna say, I gotta go Ramsey here.
Alright.
So I think there's gonna be plenty of 20s that like we can give to somebody other than Ramsey. I think we go Ramsey here because there's gonna be other quarterbacks. There's gonna be other quarterbacks at least up through like 12. So, and I'm pretty sure we know who 12 is. So I'm not trying to get ahead of us, but
Dang, look at me.
Yeah.
I just got myself vetoed out. And people say that I'm a control freak and a dictator. That's interesting. Moving on to number 6.
Comments.
And I have 4 guys listed here. I don't know if any of them, I think one stands out, but none of them are runaways. So if you guys have more,
That's all my guys.
yeah, let me go first, and then I'm sure you'll have more that I didn't name. Baker Mayfield is my front runner off of my list. Just the best Browns quarterback since Bernie Kosar, like without question. Sorry, Derek Anderson, James Conner, who people.
Oh my god.
He has like
Listen.
over 10 touchdowns a year at number 6.
He was barely number 6, so
He's done it every year with the Cardinals, so that's 3 or 4 years already.
James
No,
Conner's
it's
been
3.
That's 3 now. I think it's
this
been
is
3.
going into his 3rd year.
No, he's not. How much
He
was
signed
that?
a 1-year deal, and then last year was his 2nd year.
These kids, Cooper, Christian, they don't learn. They don't learn to
Not a
make
kid
football
anymore.
bets with.
Anyway, but James Conner, regardless of how long he's been there, I mean, he had good numbers with the Steelers, and I think he's blossomed with the Cardinals.
I did 2 more guys. Dan Orlovsky, kind of similar to Pat McAfee. Josie does, but
He ran out the back of an end zone and he won 0-16.
Did you
but that's
Here-
iconic.
All right,
God.
did you hear what
That's-
Calvin Johnson said? They said Dan Orlovsky wasn't their quarterback. They probably wouldn't have gone 0-16.
That's facts.
James Conner has been with the Cardinals for 3 years.
He's going into his 3rd year. Shut up.
I literally have his Wikipedia pulled up, Christian.
Wikipedia's fake.
All right.
Wikipedia's fake. Anybody can edit Wikipedia. Sound like a boomer. You can't use it.
You're
as
that
references
you're
in
that
school.
teacher in high school that doesn't trust it.
He's
Can I
smart.
name my special teamers now? Holy crap.
My final guy before
Holy
Christian
crap.
lists off Sean Schwesham and a bunch of other kickers is Devontae Smith.
So
the
you said
Heisman
Devontae
winner.
Smith.
I was thinking.
Orlovsky, James Conner, and Baker Mayfield.
Wow, surprised you didn't throw a different
Jay
guy.
Cutler.
Jay Cutler. I'm surprised.
Oh,
you didn't throw
I
him
love
there.
me some Jay Cutler.
Yeah. It's also go ahead. You want me to go first? I only have one guy I really want to throw out there.
Go ahead, because Christian's gonna name out like 10
Thomas
obscure
Thomas
kickers.
Morstead.
You suck. You
Okay.
son of a gun. I was,
Thomas
that was
Morstead.
my
That's
first
such a
out.
that's such a viable option here. That like Thomas Morstead has been. You hardly ever hear his name because of how consistently
All right.
good he is.
Yeah, but that's what he was my top guy. I'm going. All right. Well, frick you.
Also, sorry, real quick, Duck
Dude.
Hodges, baby. Duck Hodges. Let's go, baby.
Hey, but that's what makes this list more fun than just doing best players.
Yeah,
Most
for sure.
iconic, obviously,
Mhm.
what they did on the field comes into play, but then also just like the fandom behind him. And Duck Hodges had a cult following. He's dating Lainey Wilson, maybe the most famous female country singer right now.
Nah, because you know the
Megan
50s are gonna
Maroney?
say that she's a freaking.
Her, Megan Maroney, I think.
See, here's the thing. I don't listen to country music. I know who Lainey Wilson is. I don't know Megan Maroney. So, like, I would say that Lainey Wilson's probably
This is a
more famous
football
because I don't-
podcast. Holy crap!
We're talking about Duck Hodges.
We're an entertainment
Talking
podcast.
about
We're
Can
talking
I
about
name
Duck
my guy?
Hodges.
We're in an entertainment business.
walk-ups. All right.
We
AJ
just
Cole,
create good content.
Can I speak?
He's like a speak.
AJ Cole III. Jay Cutler was on my list. Quadre Diggs.
Quandre Diggs. That's a good one. I don't know if it's necessarily from the time he was 6, though.
Nah, but I just
I mean,
saw
his-
his
yeah,
public pick,
He's
yeah.
solid. I mean, Le'Veon Bell wore 6 for 1 year.
Yeah.
If we're throwing out the guys who wore for 1
Not
year.
even a full year.
Steven
though.
Hauschka.
Julio Jones with the Titans were 6.
No, with the Buccaneers.
Oh yeah.
Because then he wore 80 this year.
Melvin Ingram.
Low key. Julio, do you have more people? You're like looking through
I
the.
have 8 people. Yeah, because it's
All right,
a big
you're,
list.
you're not prepared. So,
Stephen Hauschka.
Stephen Hauschka, you said that one.
Brian Hoyer.
Mohamed Sanu.
Shut
I like Mohamed Sanu. He's not in the conversation, but like I personally liked Mohamed Sanu.
Cody Kessler.
All right, so basically what we're looking at is like the top 2.
You just cut your butt off. That was awesome.
Are we looking at the top 2 is Jay Cutler and Thomas Morstead, or what are we throwing out?
Mike Nugent.
Nugent. Who are the guys on your list again, Hayden? I'm sorry.
Jeremiah Osa-Kumar. How do you say his name?
Baker Mayfield, James Conner, Orlovsky, Devontae Smith.
Which
I
of
love
those guys do you think are in the Cutler and Thomas Morstead conversation?
I love Thomas Morstead, dude, but I think I would take all those guys other than Orlovsky over Morstead. I love Morstead, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know, James Conner, touchdown machine, scrimmage yards machine, Baker Mayfield, legit quarterback, especially like when you look just like what he was able to do in Cleveland
I'm voting Morstead.
out of spite.
No, because I think him and
As iconic. Like, we're talking Thomas Morstead.
he's iconic.
Think about-
He's iconic to me.
When you look at iconic punters in the 21st century, where does he rank? Is he even top 10?
Probably.
If so, is he very close to 10?
Him and freaking Pat McAfee.
I would put him at like 7 or 6 just off the top of my head, probably.
All right, so you're putting him over Shane Leckler, over Pat McAfee,
I
after
forgot
Mark
about
You're
that.
throwing out
Etienne.
the best names right now.
I
dude.
That's what I mean. Like,
I forgot about Leckler.
Leckler's a dog.
I was a long.
Like,
yeah, that's hard. I
There's a
forgot
lot of
about
punter.
him. Holy
Which, by the way,
crap.
Shane Leckler wore 9, right?
Yeah, he wore 9.
Dang, we might have some special teams.
Okay.
No, I'm not going
So,
with special.
so you're going Thomas Morstead?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Jay Cutler. So you can be the tiebreaker
You're
on
not
that.
gonna go
Aiden.
with me. Gosh dang it.
I mean, heck, if we all need to go a different one on this one, we can probably do that just for the one. Because like I don't, Morstead and Cutler to me are the answers. So, not that I disagree with the ones you threw out there, Hayden. I just think that based on like career and accolades, like I don't think those guys stand up to Cutler.
So,
To be fair, Jay Cutler also had prime Brandon Marshall, prime Alshon Jeffrey, prime Matt Forte, and couldn't win crap.
Martellus Bennett.
And couldn't even pass for 4,000 yards.
That Bears defense, Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman. Wow.
That Bears.
They had an all-pro center.
And he couldn't even pass for 4,000 yards. So maybe that's saying
They
something.
made the NFC Championship, though, as many times as the Bills have made it with Josh Allen. Just,
NFC.
well, conference
Yeah,
championship.
Okay, gotcha.
I deserve like a drink, like a.
Yeah. So what's your answer? You could either go a different route and we can all go a different one, or you can tie break.
Well, what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think it's Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Oh, we're all going different routes.
That's fine. We can all go a different one this time.
We can do that, but I do want to have
Yeah.
at least like a public consensus, just like so. Like if we put, I guess you could say push it out
Hey,
on
dude.
social media, but post it on social media. So I'm gonna say Baker's number 1. Number 2 is Thomas Morstead, and then
Three's Cutler.
3 Cutler. Random number generator says.
It's fine. Baker's fine. I mean,
Alright.
I don't disagree with the Baker. I just don't think that his legacy necessarily stands up to Cutler's.
You mean more stuff.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'd change my answer. Wait, you were just talking crap on the 4,000 yard season thing.
I was like,
So
but I-
how are you gonna say that? And then
Because, dude, the dude was also polarizing. He'd stand there on the sideline and smoke a cigarette and then come in and just, like, shoulders slumped, like, throw the ball 75 yards with a flick of the wrist. Like, the dude, if he would have had the work ethic of, like, a prime Antonio Brown, Jay Cutler might have been the best quarterback of all time.
This is off topic. Isn't he like a big douchebag?
No,
Jay
his
Cutler?
wife is.
That's the
His ex-
personality, yeah.
His ex-wife is.
I thought he was. That's why like they were gonna do it.
so he is one of my
That's what
favorite like
Yeah.
podcast guests, whether it's with
Cutler.
whether it's with the guys on Barstool, he's done that a couple times. He's been on McAfee at least once. His stories are so good. And his best story didn't even come from a podcast. It was when Ryan Tannehill tore his ACL and Adam Gase, because they had that relationship back to when he was the OC in Chicago, called him out of retirement. He was supposed to be the number 1 guy in the Fox broadcasting booth. He comes out of retirement for, I think, 1 year, $10 million back when that was like,
A lot.
yeah.
Oh.
And what he said during his press conference, and his press conference was hilarious, just like he was acting high, like he was typical Jay Cutler.
Natural.
And they asked him why he came out of retirement. And he didn't say anything about wanting to keep on playing football. He didn't even say anything about himself. He said his wife told him that the money and the opportunity was too good to pass up, and that's why he came back. Savage. Like, just not even, like,
Yeah.
not a care in the
Yeah.
world.
Oh, yeah. I love Cutler.
But
Also, I mean, you mentioned your favorite interview guy. I love Blake Bortles in interviews. Blake Bortles to me
He's
is
another great
hilarious. He's got Cutler vibes for sure.
You got that.
Jay
chip in
Cutler
his
has a
mouth.
4,000 yard season.
He does. Which team?
Jags. Blake Bortles, I mean.
Blake Bortles.
my
Oh,
bad,
yeah,
my
yeah.
bad.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
I knew
my
Blake
bad.
Bortles, because he also had 35 touchdowns that year. 35, 36.
He was nice for a couple of years there. The Allen Robinson,
AFC
Allen
championship
Hurns.
game.
The year like they started out hot too. He started out really good, and then they
Yeah,
just
they gave up on him but at the same time, it's like he was just polarizing in the sense that like sometimes he'd be really good, other times he'd be really bad, and they weren't going to pay him like a top quarterback.
And that was when that team was still really, the defense was insane. Leonard Fournette was in his prime.
Man, that defense was nuts. All right, anyway, 7. I think
Seven.
this one should be a quick one for us.
I'm actually going a different route here.
So this one's hard. Christian, are you?
I'm going Vic.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Big Ben is obviously the homer one. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do 21st century, because I feel like John Elway might be more deserving. If we're talking about iconic, Big Ben, better player, better career. Michael Vick, pretty iconic.
He's just the first quarterback that could run.
Don't throw it out. I'm looking at his name right now. Do not
He,
throw
it's on
name
his
out
list.
there.
It's on his
Don't,
list.
dude,
I already thought it too. I
stop.
saw it. You can't mention his
gonna,
name.
You're going to freaking get us canceled, dude.
I will make
Colin
us get canceled. All right, I'm getting us canceled.
Kaepernick.
You want that guy, bro?
My guy.
Listen, if we're talking about iconic,
Anyway.
it doesn't-
He's not iconic. Yeah,
but he's polarizing. That's the same reason why Jay Cutler almost won the last round.
Way to go.
Bryce McSorley, baby.
He deserves a mention. I'm not saying he wins. I think it does come down to Big Ben versus Vic, but not including him on a list, like, especially when we were just talking about being polarizing is like a key to this thing, like, because you either hate him or you love him,
Yeah.
and you're like, and I feel like
His
not to,
rookie
like,
year was fun.
not to put myself on like some like self-righteous like football like glory, but if you think he sucked, that's just not true.
Yeah.
But also, if you think that he's like a god and like the next coming of Jesus Christ on the football field and off, that's also wrong. Like, he was a good quarterback with lots of talent, but once Jim Harbaugh left, it went to crap. Chip Kelly couldn't do anything. Jim Tomsula couldn't do anything. So, I don't know. Look at that. I just made that about Jim Harbaugh, my favorite coach in the NFL. But, go ahead. Anybody else?
I'm just going Vic over Roethlisberger because
You don't
I'm
have
trying
any special teamer to name out or anything?
No, I went through the whole list. I didn't really find anyone, but You
Well,
acting
yeah,
doing big?
no,
He's
No,
just
no,
rubbing his
you're
eye
good, dude.
down.
I'm just doing that because I know we're all Steelers fans. Like, I think they both changed the game, but I'm also doing it because Michael Vick was like the first quarterback that could actually run like that and basically be a running back and could
I
throw.
mean, Slash was like that. If you go back and watch some of his highlights from his early Pittsburgh Steelers days, like he was
If
a
Cordell
dog.
Stewart was
Yes.
drafted 10 or even 20 years later,
Oh, he would have been a dog. Like,
but also Mike Vick was just in a different.
Mike Vick
Oh,
could
no,
throw
I-
it
the
80
way-
yards.
yeah, the
though.
way
I
Vick
love
could-
throwing 80
don't,
yards.
Don't get me
You
wrong.
love
I'm
Mike
not-
Vick?
Yes, I'll stand by that.
Okay.
I like Mike Vick. I think that there's redemption to be had.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Mike Vick. I think in terms of icon, are you going Big Ben?
Yeah,
I mean, you might as well. It's 2 against 1, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
All right, give Ben some glory though, because we are a Steelers podcast. So
I mean, he's top 5 in most stats for quarterbacks, or I know he's at least top 10 for most stats for quarterbacks.
yeah, I
At
think
this
he's
point.
like 6 or
Yeah,
5.
so we'll say
Yeah,
probably
maybe.
top 7 in most statistical categories for quarterbacks. I mean, what, through 3 Super Bowl appearances?
Yep.
Yeah, 2 dubs, 2 out of 3.
Another few AFC championships.
Yeah, I mean,
appearances.
he's another guy who was thrust right into the mix of stuff, and he didn't necessarily deal with some of the flashing lights as well as like a Dak, like we mentioned earlier. But at the same time, it's like a lot of those mistakes he made early on, he was just a kid, you know. And like, there's redemption to be had, and like, I'm not saying that like completely blame is for everything, but I think people who are unwilling to forgive usually expect a lot of forgiveness themselves. And so in those scenarios, like, you know, I don't think that should be held necessarily against him. I don't think it should be held against Vic either, to be honest with you. I think as far as like just real big flashy plays like Vic, the arm strength, the speed, but I mean just longevity and producing for as long as you did, it's the only player in the history of the NFL with multiple games passing for 500 yards. He did it against Jacksonville, right? In that one game? Or no, I'm sorry. The postseason game against the Browns when they were trying to come back from that huge deficit they were in, passed for 500 yards. Like it was nothing. Late in his career. Like, I think Ben's the easy answer here, and I don't really think it's that close. So,
Period.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But that said, Vic did win.
MVP. Wait, Vic did win?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we both
You
did.
both love it. All right.
That's
whatever.
why I wanted you to give Big Ben his flowers because I still wanted to hear all that. Like I love that.
That's wild.
Like
dude.
that got me like ready. Like I feel like I need to go put on my
You
Big
guys
Ben
are-
jersey.
You guys are gonna get Kirk Cousins number 8 too. Jeez.
No,
All right, moving on to number
he
8.
is. We all know he is.
So another couple pre-2000 players: Steve Young, Troy Aikman, who I'm not really a fan of. Most overrated quarterback. Yeah, so Kenny Pickett, the clear winner here. We also have some honorable mentions to Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford, and Lamar Jackson.
Troy Aikman did play up until the year 2000. He played in his tenure says 89 through 2000. So I don't know if that's a technicality you guys don't want to count.
He played
think
one year. That means he played 1 year in 2000. though.
Right, so
So,
you don't want to count that then. I
Plus,
just want to make sure.
plus he's like the most overrated quarterback of all time.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I'm gonna go.
Come on, this one's pretty obvious, guys. We
I
just
was going Lamar.
okay. Yeah, I think
I was
it's
gonna go,
obviously
I
Lamar.
want to stay Steve Young, but also that was like late in his career, and I just
He didn't
feel,
play in 2000 either. He was just an honorable mention. Since he
Oh,
was-
I don't mention.
Yeah.
I just saw you listen. I was like, oh, I didn't even think of him. Well, the other two guys I saw in here, which obviously aren't better than Lamar Jackson, Hasselback.
Oh, I love me some Matty
Yeah,
Hasselbeck.
that's what. And then I saw you have Lamar. I was like, oh crap. And then just another kicker, but I don't think he should be on there yet. But I think he's good. Brandon McManus.
Yeah.
He's always had a solid year every year he comes in.
I don't think he's necessarily in the conversation you guys meant, but Matt Schaub was always a super consistent backup. Again, just as a backup, I don't think
Multiple
he can
4,000-yard
Yeah.
passer.
I don't think he can necessarily be in the conversation of these other guys, but I think Matt Schaub is. We have to at least throw his name out.
All right, so we're gonna take out Steve Young and Aikman. So Lamar's winning, but I do want to I want to pose this question to you guys. So Young and Aikman out. We're gonna take Lamar out because he's the winner. Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford, Matt Hasselbeck, and Matt Schaub. Rank them.
What? So I was looking.
Cousins, Schaub, Hasselbeck, and Bradford. Rank those 4.
I would say Cousins and Hasselbeck have like the same type of career. I feel like.
I would say in that order for me personally, Cousins, Hasselbeck, number 1 and 2, and then it'd probably
They're pretty
go
similar to me.
I feel like Cousins is definitely number 1.
Bradford, just with how much money he stole from the league, he's got to be number 3.
Completion
and then Matt Schaub 4.
that he has like
Yeah.
the record for completion percentage.
So
or
probably
did.
So probably Cousins. Who was the second guy I threw out there? Sorry,
You're gonna go Cousins, Hasselbeck,
Hasselbeck. Thank you.
and then Schaub. or
Bradford, Schaub. In
Okay.
that order. That would probably.
That's
be-
not how I thought it would go. I think Cousins at number 1 is the only like undebatable thing about the list. That's kind of why I just wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
Because I love Matt Hasselbeck. I'm one of his biggest fans.
Mhm.
But I'm surprised you guys kicked him all the way up to number 2 on that. Number 9. So this one might be the most competitive one that we've had. This one is
That
not.
number 1 guy, take off that list. Even though he won one.
So, but he deserves. He has a nickname, Big Dick Nick Foles. How is he not on the list? As an honorable mention, I don't think he's gonna win.
He's a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner.
Pro Bowl quarterback, he deserves a mention. Drew Brees, which I did want to make this point about Big Ben. The quarterbacks he played with hurt his legacy so much.
Yeah.
Because all these guys, to most people, maybe not to us, but are better than him. Brady, Manning, Favre, Rodgers, and Brees.
I got a Nick Foles stat for you here. I'm trying to find it. Sorry, I texted it to somebody recently, and I'm thinking. All right, here we go. Fun facts about 2013. Big Dick Nick. I think he was with the Eagles.
That was his
2013.
second year in the NFL.
Yeah, when he actually got a chance to start like an entire season.
Mike Vick's last year.
Yeah, he threw 27 touchdowns,
2 picks.
7 in one game, and it tied the NFL record with guys like Peyton Manning. Was it Breeze in that shootout between the?
Breeze and Eli Manning
Yeah,
had a
they went
shootout.
back
I don't
and
even
forth.
know.
I think it was 6. I think they both had 6 or something crazy. But he went 27-2 that season, touchdown to interception ratio, second best touchdown to interception ratio in the history of the NFL, only behind Brady in 2016 when he had 28-2, which is only 1 more touchdown. He also ended the season with a 119.0 passer rating, which is third all time in NFL history. The only time he ever got to start a full season, statistically, was one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Joe's
that
just
one
taking you to
season.
school right now.
No, I literally, you were talking about him. I'm like, I gotta pull that up.
And people
Overall,
for
those
it's
guys.
insane.
that 2018 playoff run too. Alshon Jeffrey catches a ball in New Orleans. They're advancing. Nick
Yeah.
Foles almost pulled it off twice.
Yeah.
But
He's just got that gumption in that, like, I don't know. People nowadays say he's got that dog in him. Like, he's got that dog in him. Nick Foles absolutely does. And from what I understand, his teammates love him. Like, Nick Foles is just a guy. You know?
so Drew Brees, a recency one, which another guy kind of like Sauce Gardner. If we do this exercise 5 to 10 years from now, Joe Burrow might be the unanimous winner. I don't think he's going to win now.
Yeah.
And then the two special teamers, both probably going to be Hall of Famers, Shane Leckler and Justin Tucker.
Steve McNair's there too.
Oh, Aaron McNair's a good one.
Stafford was there, but I know he's not over this one. There's someone else who I saw.
I can say there's somebody else I saw in the early 2000s that I wanted to mention.
Where's it
Hey guys, you remember when we said a quick episode?
at? Yeah,
Do
I
you
already
see what
thought
time
about
we're
it.
at?
I already saw it. We might just be going.
We're at 48 minutes.
We might have to go 1 through 10 and then just do trivia.
Crap, where's
Did
he
you
at?
say? Nah, Phil Dawson went for a little bit. Tony Romo.
Oh,
Did we throw
I
a
passed
Tony Romo
over
to
to
him?
him.
That's a
No.
Yeah, that's
Especially
about
when
Romo.
you look at post career.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, where
You
is
threw
this
a
dude?
Bradford.
Dude, there's someone else. Why? Matt Judon now,
Isaiah-
sort of.
Isaiah
above
Simmons?
him. Shut up.
In Madden, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with my original answer here. As much as there were guys on this list, like, for me, it's still Justin Tucker. Like,
Over
think-
Drew Brees.
I think Justin... Dude, I don't know.
That's the thing.
It's so difficult. I think either one of those is the correct answer. Like, they're both future Hall of Famers. You're talking about, again, statistically a top 10 quarterback in most stats. And a guy who was just super consistent, overcame the nobody thought he was going to be good because of his height kind of stuff. Like,
Final answer.
I'm going Breeze. I know. Oh, Carson Palmer with the Bengals. That's what I was thinking of.
dude, I'm going to go Justin Tucker still.
Alright.
I think Justin Tucker's the greatest of all time in his position. I don't think Drew Brees is. So,
Christian, final answer.
I'm going Breeze. I know I want special teamers, but
You
You
go
guys-
Brees.
you
Breeze
guys
is my
suck.
guy. Breeze is my guy.
So obviously we have one non-quarterback, and that's Jalen Ramsey, who pulled off an upset against another quarterback, if I remember. Yeah, against Flacco.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what?
I'm also, if we're thinking of like, I forget the word that you guys were describing, but like,
polarizing.
yeah, polarizing. I mean, he also basically saved the city
Drew
after
Brees.
hurricane.
Shit,
Brought
Christian.
a city together.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm going Tucker just because Drew Brees as good as you like Justin Tucker.
I just thought that was a good point to bring up.
Tucker like goes out for a 60-yard field goal, and he's like, he's gonna make it. Like the fans of the other team aren't even like they're like, oh crap, Tucker's gonna get it. It's like it doesn't matter that it's over 60 yards. Like we just expect him to do.
Well,
it.
it sucks that I wish Tucker was number 10 here.
All right,
It's dead.
so Josie's going Tucker, Christian's going Breeze. I'm gonna go Tucker.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, all right, we have a decision to make, and this is how we make decisions on air. So, we're already at 50 minutes. We are for sure doing number 10.
Yeah.
We are for sure doing the trivia. Do we want to rush through 11 through 20? Realizing, here's the thing, though, guys. We can't dedicate a whole episode. Like, we can't dedicate 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Those.
No.
So, eventually, we're going to have to speed up. So, do we want to get ahead now so we can...
I think we had talked about this before. That like I feel like 1 through 20 is going to take the longest, and then once we get beyond that, it's going to be unanimous. Where it's like
You think?
one through maybe let's go 1 through 30, because then once you get into the numbers like the 40s, like we're going to be struggling. We're like,
What
oh
about
yes,
the
this
80s?
person, boom,
The
absolutely.
50s, all those linebackers?
Yeah, and like again, there'll be times when we get slowed up, but like I feel like we're going to be able to fly through 30 through 50 pretty quickly in an episode.
I'll let
So,
you guys decide.
I say 1 through 10 trivia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna 1 through 10 sure.
I feel like 1 through 20 we're going to be here.
That's fine. No, that's fine. That means next week we're probably freaking grinding.
Yeah.
All right, number 10.
This one's tough.
Guys,
That's
I have
pretty clear
listed-
answer here, in my opinion, he's a guy I threw out earlier. I threw his name out as a receiver earlier, but he's actually known for this number. He wore number 1 for a little bit.
So I think you're talking about Deshaun
I
Jackson.
am talking about Deshaun Jackson for sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Other guys I have on the list:
Eli Manning.
RG3,
I had RG3.
DeAndre Hopkins,
D-Hop.
Oh,
That's a big one I
crap.
forgot about.
Tyreek Hill, who might be
Yeah.
San
the
Antonio
better version
Holmes.
of Deshaun
Well, I'm
Jackson.
looking. I scrolled from the bottom up, and so I'm looking through it now. I'm getting to the guys like Herbert and Hill, and the guys that are still playing.
Herbert, Santonio Holmes, and
Yeah.
then Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowl wins, probably going to wind up in the Hall of Fame. Beats Tom Brady twice, ruins the only possible chance at a 19-0 season.
I think it's D Hop or Tyreek Hill.
I mean, I don't think we can sleep on Eli either. I mean, I do think
The
that
only reason why I'm going with those 2 receivers though is because I'm trying to go away from
All
the
right,
quarterback.
so can we eliminate Deshaun?
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah, I love Djax, but I mean, if we're looking like Tyreek's the better version of him, we're gonna eliminate RG3. That leaves us with Herbert, Hopkins, Hill, and
It's the
Manning.
same thing with Burrow. You gotta eliminate Herbert right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
I'm fine with
Herbert's
that.
Too recent.
So Hopkins, Hill, or Manning. All right. Well, let's first start off with. I think Eli Manning deserves a place in the final. So Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's Hill if we're looking
I
at
think it's
iconic.
Hill. I think it's
I think
Hill of those
Hill's better and more iconic.
Numbers are better. Like
He has a nick. I guess you have Nuke Hopkins, but
Yeah.
Cheetah, like all the stuff Tyreek does, good and bad in the media. Like
Tyreek is also produced with a. I don't want to say this. A lesser quarterback. So like Tyreek is produced with Tua, whereas Hopkins
D-Hop did
produced with
Will
Kyler.
Levis.
Kyler-
He had 1,000
Kyler's
yard
better
year
than
off Will
Tua.
Levis with a rookie.
I don't know if you can use that argument just because Tyreek had Mahomes for what?
Yeah.
He had
but I'm
Mahomes
saying, like,
and Alex Smith.
But
So
statistically, you could look at his past 2 years.
Okay,
It's
but
not-
also D Hop, like you could really say he only had Deshaun. Like he had Will Levis, and then he had Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray hasn't reached his peak yet. People still think Kyler Murray's mid.
listen, I love
But-
D Hop, but we can all agree Tyreek's
I
better,
think it's
right?
Tyreek. I believe it's Tyreek.
Do you really have a problem? Like
No, Tyreek Hill's better.
apples
now,
to
but
apples,
I'm
like
not gonna lie, D Hop, I think it was better when he was in the prime.
Tyreek's just a complete specimen. He's a ball of muscle who
Yeah,
runs
but if D Hop
faster
was
than anyone.
if D Hop was still good like he was with the Texans, I'm going D Hop. D Hop's prime was nuts.
There's a case that D-Hop has the best hands in the history of the NFL. From his time with Houston, there's a case that he has the best hands in the league. But
Larry Fitzgerald, Chris Carter.
no, look,
Odell
I'm not saying that.
Beckham,
I'm not saying he's
Antonio
unanimous.
Brown,
I said
like-
there's an argument. I didn't say he is unanimously.
It's a
I said
heavy
that,
argument.
I agree.
Jason Witten, like
There's guys, but I'm just saying like
He's
the
not wrong
catches
with
that he
D-Hop,
made are
yeah.
just like insane. Contested catches, one hands, everything like he did. Those like you look at Larry Fitzgerald, he never dropped the ball, but he also never tried to catch it one handed unless he absolutely had to. Like,
you don't get extra points or extra stats for a one-handed catch.
dude, you're preaching to the choir right now. I get it, but I'm just saying that like, just like was
Whatever.
a spectacular catch.
Deontay Johnson has better hands than all of them. So, wow, I can't even say that with a straight face. Eli Manning or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek.
I'm not a huge Eli Manning guy, but I do think that in this case, I'm probably going Eli. So.
So I'm the tiebreaker again.
Look what your boy's doing right now.
No, that's like a preppy
I just-
condition.
yeah.
See, I think
Words
that
for you.
you take away Eli's 2 Super Bowl wins and the career super mid, if I'm being honest.
He has
but,
a 500 record all time,
yeah. So like, I mean, that's good. Like that's not bad by any means, but like,
and we're talking iconic.
So
So I don't know if that helps or hurts Eli. You said you're going
he's
Eli.
in a big market. He survived a big market, which most people can't say they did. I'm going Eli.
I'm gonna go Eli too, which is hard.
Screw quarterbacks, bro.
But that's
They're
a
going to be dominated up until like number 12, and then after number 12, it's going to be everybody else,
for the
other than
most part,
18.
For the most part,
Yeah, other than 18, we already know who that is.
Deontay
So,
Johnson.
incorrect.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know the last name, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this is one of the few times where like
Legacy.
the last name gives him a bump,
Mm-hmm.
but that's fair because that's not like the name gave him a bump in the draft. The name gave him a bump when we're talking about Canton.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily fair. But for this, it is 100% fair. Like, if we're talking polarizing, iconic, using any of the words like that, if you have the last name Manning, that's going to help.
See, that's always been my argument is that, like, I think Eli's career, just based on his career, is a Hall of Fame career, but not a first ballot. His name makes him a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I don't think I've
He
ever
will be a
heard
first ballot Hall of Famer based
I
on
don't
his
think
name.
You think?
anyone has said they want to have the game like Eli Manning, a quarterback's ever said that, or a kid growing up has ever said that. That's why I'm going Hill.
I don't know if someone's ever said that about Big Ben, though, either. Big Ben wasn't. And I love Ben, but, like...
I mean, there's players that came out now that Drake May said that he models his game after Big Ben, didn't he? Or was he saying Josh Allen more recently?
Probably Josh Allen. But, I mean, there are some
But
similarities.
Josh Allen,
there.
I'm pretty sure, said stuff about Ben too.
And it's just those big, semi-athletic guys when they're young.
I think
stand-around
we
quarterbacks.
in the media compare them to Big Ben.
Yeah.
A Big Ben, Brett Favre, like guys like that, Tony Romo's. I think all those guys, for the most part, they look up to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And then the generation before that looked up to Brett Favre. And,
So it's all just Green Bay Packers.
well, it's like, that's like the thing. Now people are going to look up to Mahomes or Allen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Oh yeah.
it's a continuous cycle.
It's gunslingers. That's what they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys who sling you.
All
Center
right.
of attention.
So those are players
1 through 10.
wearing digits 1 through 10, the most iconic. Interesting list. I feel like, I mean, it's so subjective. It's not just best, so
Yeah.
it is subjective. There's room for debate. Obviously, we were unanimous on most of them,
Yeah.
but there were a couple that we disagreed on. There was the
Six.
number 6. All three of us had different answers, but
Yeah.
Josie, you want to finish us off with trivia?
I do. So I saw this post. It was actually posted by a FanDuel account on Instagram, and it basically asked, like, it went through and omitted certain players' names, and it said, "Can you fill in the blank?" But I want you guys to name the top 10 receiving yardage leaders from the year 2014. And if you can get them in order, great. If you guys are struggling with a number, I'll give you the team, and you
OBJ.
can. OBJ is. Do we want to just throw out names?
That was his rookie
I
year,
feel
right?
that it was his
It was his
rookie
rookie
year. He
season.
wasn't number 1 though, so I don't know. Up to you.
We'll just guess what number they are.
OBJ
1 through 10.
6.
He's 10.
I'm about to say he's lower on there.
He's 10. He was 22 years old, I believe. That was his rookie season. 1305.
It was his rookie.
1305.
Antonio Brown, number 1 with 1499.
Antonio Brown, number 1 with 1698.
Darn.
I was gonna say he was like 2 or 3 there. All right, Julio Jones number 2.
Julio Jones is not number 2.
3.
It's 3. Julio Jones number
I was about to say
3.
he's on that list for sure.
Megatron number 2.
1593. Megatron is not on this list.
think he retired the year
wasn't
before.
he wasn't in the league in 2014.
He retired
Yeah,
the
he
year
was.
before. No, because I think AB started going.
I'll give you this. There is a lion on this list. It's not Megatron.
Golden Tate.
Yeah, it's Golden Tate.
Megatron must have been hurt. He played
Oh,
2014.
Calvin Johnson played 13 games this season. He's number 16. He had 1,077.
Okay, I was gonna say Megatron's last year was 2015
15.
because he retired with Heath Miller, Peyton Manning, all those guys.
Was he top 5 Golden Tate?
Golden Tate was number 7. He had 1331. So right now you have 1, 3, 7, 10.
Diop wasn't good yet.
It was D Hop's second year, so he might be on here. But I'm gonna wait. AJ
D-Hop-
Green.
It took
8.
D-Hop and
D-Hop is
Devontae.
not top 10. He's number 12, but I think that's because wasn't Andre Johnson still there in 2014?
Yeah,
He was,
D-Hop and Devontae Adams took a couple years to
But
get
they're-
out to the nuts.
Devontae was a rookie this year. He's nowhere
Well, I
close.
know,
to
yeah, he was.
D Hop though, he still had 1,000 yards. That he came into his own that year.
He had 12-10.
I wanna say-
AJ Green and Des Bryant are going to be on this list.
AJ Green is not on this list. That I've had multiple people shocked that AJ Green was not.
There were so many 1,000-yard receivers this
Yeah.
season.
The tight ends count.
You said Dez, right?
Yeah.
Dez is on this list. He's number 8. He had 1320. What was your saying?
tight ends count.
Just receivers. Well, yeah, I mean,
No tight ends.
the
from
highest
there.
tight end on here is Rob Gronkowski at 15. He had 1124.
I was gonna say Jason Witten for some reason.
Receiving catches, he's probably on that top. To answer your question from earlier, AJ Green had 1,041 receiving.
How many
yards.
1,000-yard receivers were there?
Oh gosh.
Because Mike Evans had 1,000 yards as a rookie, but
23.
I'm gonna
Mike
say
Evans had 1051, and Vincent Jackson had over 1,000 as well. 1,002.
rest in peace.
Yeah.
Is T.Y. Hilton on
Keenan
this
Allen.
list?
T.Y. Hilton is on this list. I thought that might catch you guys up a little bit. This was Andrew Luck's second full season, and he had 1345. T.Y. Hilton was number 6.
I was Demarius Thomas.
Demarius Thomas is what number?
Number.
He was high up. He's high
4.
up.
Higher.
3.
He's
2.
3.
2. Demarius Thomas was number 2. He was less than
remember
100
he was
yards.
nice.
I
He
knew
was
he
less
was
than 100
good.
yards behind Antonio Brown.
He was another guy. Oh,
He had 16-19.
I was just gonna say he had 100 catches this year, which made me remember Brandon Marshall.
111.
This is gonna
Brandon
be
Marshall.
Brandon Marshall's not on this list.
Larry
Because he had
Fitzgerald.
1,000 yards.
Alshon Jeffrey's at 14. Brandon Marshall is not above 1,000 yards.
Oh.
Unless I missed him. I don't.
Larry Fitz.
Larry Fitz is number. He must have been hurt or something like that.
Brandon
I thought he was
Marshall?
sneaky.
Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall probably
Let me
was
see if
on
I can
there.
find Brandon Marshall's name. I don't see him yet.
Because I thought Brandon Marshall had
Oh,
like the.
Doug Baldwin.
Nah, not in 2014. Too early.
All right. So anyway, right now you have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10. So you still need 4, 5, 9. 4, 5, and 9.
I don't know.
Give
I
us-
think it's
don't
too.
give us
I'm
teams.
not-
It's too early for Emmanuel Sanders with the Broncos. Yeah.
What
I
number do you think he is?
9.
I don't think it was that. I mean, he's obviously in the top 10, but that.
There's no.
I didn't
way
realize
he's
he had
5.
1,000 yards right away.
He's 5.
He's 5. Oh,
Emmanuel Sanders had
crap.
14.04 this year.
Sanders was nice with it.
He was. There's 2 Broncos receivers in the top 5. No, I'm sorry. Yes, 5 and 2. This
Nice.
I mean, this was another one of. This was the last year I believe that Peyton was there.
White boy Edelman.
Second to last year, he was there 2015, the year they won the Super Bowl. This
That's-
was
yeah,
this
yeah,
was
yeah.
Peyton's. Peyton started to dwindle down at the end of this
Right,
season.
and this was the season right after he had the MVP 55 touchdown season. Right, that was 2013.
So
Yeah.
the Brandon Marshall, by the way, just an update. He had 1,000 yards, 2007 all the way through 2013. 2014 was his second season without 1,000 yards. The very next year, he gets traded to the Jets for a 5th-round pick. Has 109 catches for 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns with
So
Fitzpatrick.
what did he have in 2014? Brandon Marshall,
720.
720.
Yeah.
That puts him at 721. Puts him at 59 behind Greg Jennings.
Yeah,
You
13.
hear me?
Oh, Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson is on there. He's
Randall Cobb's on here too.
Which number do you think Jordan Nelson is?
6.
6. He is number 4.
Okay.
Number 4, he had 15-19. Randall Cobb is number 11, so he's not in the top 10.
I was
The
gonna
only
say
one you're
'cause
missing.
Cobb was
That's it.
nice this year.
Yeah,
too.
the only one
For
you're
sure
missing
he's
is
next
number
to
9.
Jordan
Missing number
Edelman. Edelman's
9.
too early, right?
Edelman is. I saw his name here a second ago. Julian Edelman is number 25 with 972.
That's nuts that there were that many.
Michael Captree.
But that's a good guess. I haven't had anybody guess that
Trying
yet.
to think of a Niners guy.
AJ Green was at 20. I know you mentioned his name earlier. He had 20. He was
You
at
said there was 22
10-40.
guys with 1,000 yards.
23.
That's nuts.
Vincent Jackson,
Josh Gordon, this was not his
Jarvis
year. His year
Landry.
was the year before.
2013, and then this is his first
It
suspended
wasn't
year, I
Jarvis
think.
Landry.
Jarvis
He
Landry's
was
a
a rookie
1,000 yard
too.
receiver.
Jarvis
Oh, no,
Landry.
you're right.
His rookie year,
Yeah,
he was
he's
like
a rookie
his
year.
rookie year was like 700.
I saw his name, I swear.
His rookie year, he wasn't 1,000 yet, but he was still good.
How many more guys do we
Not
need
Michael
for
Thomas.
all 23 1,000-yard guys? I
It's
feel
not
like
Michael Thomas, is it?
no,
I can read
he,
through them
he
whenever
wasn't
we're
even in
done.
until
He
2016.
wasn't.
Yeah, I can read through them whenever we're done. But NFC player, NFC East. Yeah, NFC East.
Deshaun Jackson.
I was surprised.
Jeremy
It's
Maclin.
Jeremy Macklin. His
It
running
was
mate.
Macklin.
It
I was good. I was
Maclin.
thinking of him
Yep.
with the Chiefs for some
How many
reason.
more? How many more guys do we have till we have all? Because
So,
I want to get all 23 now.
real quick, Jeremy Macklin had 13-18 that
I
season.
thought he was with the Chiefs. That's why I didn't guess
Let's
him.
see here. You
Like
threw out.
next year.
So starting after 10, because you got the top 10, you got Randall Cobb already. You got D Hop. We said Deshaun Jackson's name. We didn't really say him in there. You said I said Alshon Jeffrey earlier. There's a tight end.
Calvin Johnson, you said.
You said
there-
Gronk, right?
There's Gronk. There you go. So
Was Michael Floyd?
there's a receiver, 2 receivers, another tight end,
Jimmy Graham.
wide receiver, and then we said Vincent Jackson. So there's 4 more that you need.
I was
Jimmy
thinking
Graham,
Julian
not Jimmy
Thomas.
Graham.
Greg Olson.
Julian Thomas.
Greg Olson is there. He's number 21. He had 1,008. So now you have 3 more.
Julian Thomas.
No, and he was.
Julius, right?
Julius,
Thomas.
sorry,
Yeah,
I
you're
knew
good.
it was-
You're good. But that was 2013 that he had his big year. That was the
Is Steve Smith on here?
Steve Smith is on there. Baltimore.
With the Ravens, yeah.
35 years old. He had one for 1065.
Torrey's not the last one. That's
Torrey's
Torrey's
not
not
on
here.
here. There's 2 more that I have that you guys didn't get yet.
Not
One's
Wallace.
a tight end, and
Is
one.
that Eric Decker?
There's 2. So there's 2 guys on here technically that played tight end at one time in their career.
Kelvin Benjamin.
Elvin Benjamin. Mm-hmm.
And then the last guy.
Is pure tight end. Same team. Same team.
Greg Olson.
Greg Olson.
We already said
Did you
that.
say Greg
Yeah,
Olson?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
then yeah.
I was,
then we got
I
it.
was like, Ed
I
Olson.
didn't remember you saying Greg Olson, but yeah. So that's
Dang,
all 23
That's
of them.
crazy.
Big names too. I mean, we knew all those guys are household names. So, I mean, Sammy Watkins is the next one on there that didn't reach 1,000, and he was 982 with Buffalo. I heard you throw out Eric Decker's name. He was at 962. So
Same
almost
thing, and
another
then the
1,000.
And then the
Aaron
next year,
Receiver.
him and Marshall had that brick at you. All right, so you said there were 23 guys.
Mhm.
I'm checking how many players there were this year because I don't think there were even close to that many, and that's with a 17-game season.
Yeah.
So we are looking at yards.
Titans also were thinking Wright, sneaky.
Right.
Was it
for-
Kendall Wright? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's
13.
3.
Yeah, I mean, the tight ends in order from the top are Gronkowski, Olsen, Martellus Bennett, Delaney Walker, Jimmy Graham, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gates, Kobe Fleener. Man,
Yeah, it looks like his good year.
Heath Miller had 761 receiving yards this year. Man, these throwback names here.
What an overrated tight end.
Stop. You're making yourself look like a fool.
I'm trying to get him pissed off.
all right. So I was wrong. Guess how many 1,000-yard receivers there were this year?
No, it's got. If
I
if
just
he
said
said
I
I
was
was
wrong.
wrong, he said it was
What did you
under
say?
20. He
I
said it
said
was
there-
under 23, so that means it's more than 23.
Oh.
28.
28.
Ah, nailed it. I don't know how I got
Isn't that insane? There could have been more.
There'd be less.
Travis Kelce had 984. He sat out the last game of the
Mm.
year because he had an incentive. It would have been
Yeah.
another 1,000-yard season for him. Looking, Rashee Rice was close. Hawkinson would have got it. He was at 960, and he missed a handful of games.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Ingram had 114 catches, but only 960 yards.
Jordan Addison.
Addison and London along with Rice. So 3 young guys to round it out in the 900s, but that's insane.
Yeah.
But that is with a 17th game.
Yeah.
So
Real quick, just for S's and G's, because I was looking at this. Top non-quarterback in fumbles this year.
What?
non-quarterback.
Non-quarterback who had the most fumbles in the league. Because it's all. I mean, it's always gonna be quarterbacks at 1. Russell Wilson's number 1 on this list with 11. But non-quarterback who do you
Kenneth
think's the
Walker.
highest? This is 2014.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should have clarified that. 2014.
I thought you were talking about this.
I'll give you this. He was a
Ryan-
rookie.
Ryan.
Rookie
Oh.
wide receiver.
Did we name him already?
Yeah.
OBJ.
No, what's
Jarvis
his name?
Landry.
Jarvis Landry had 7 fumbles in his rookie season. That's
I
wild.
wonder,
Isn't
if,
that wild?
I wonder if any of them came on prompt returns. If not, that is. I mean,
That's a
even
lot.
with that, that's a lot. But like, if those are all on offense,
Especially
that's
for a guy who prides himself on his hands as much and who had great hands like Jarvis Landry did. I'm surprised that
Yeah, but him and
number's
OBJ were cocky and like this stuff with the football. all the time.
high. Yeah, true. Fred Jackson, DeMarco Murray.
I mean, I'm surprised it
Like
wasn't
LaShawn
Shady
McCoy,
McCoy
yeah,
running like
Shady McCoy
this.
ran like that.
What's that? How's that?
Yeah, I
called?
knew you were gonna say something.
Joik Bell. Do you remember Joik Bell?
I do.
Man, Lions running back.
Him and Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was nice with the Lions.
Ready to wrap?
Yeah. I trusted you guys. We need to grind through like 20 numbers next week
Oh, yeah.
at least.
Well,
But,
for sure.
all right. We'll see you next time. This has been the Second and Short Podcast.
No talking about